Vishyamuvacha imam prasuttam sanjeevayate khalashaktidarasvadhamna अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञा भक्तिविनीतयः दीप्तिश्चाद्वृता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. 58. एको वारिजबान्धवः क्षितिनभो व्याप्तं तमोमण्डलम् हित्वा लोचनगोचरोऽपि भवति त्वं कोटिसूर्यप्रभः वेद्यः किन्न भवस्य हो घनतरम् कीदृग्भवेन्मत्तमः तत्सर्वं व्यपनीय मे पशुपते साक्षात् प्रसन्नो भव. हंसः पद्मवनं समीक्षति यथा नीलाम्बुदं चातकः कोकः कोकनदप्रियं प्रतिदिनं चन्द्रं चकोरस्तथा
चेतो वाञ्छति मामकं
पशुपते चिन्मार्गमृग्यं विभो गौरीनाथ भवत्पदाब्जयुगलं कैवल्यसौख्यप्रदम्. रोधस्थो यहृतः श्रमेण पथिकः छायान्तरोर्वृष्टितो भीतः स्वस्थगृहं गृहस्थमतिथिः दीनः प्रभुं धार्मिकम्. दीपं सन्तमसाकुलश्च शिखिनं शीतावृतस्त्वं तथा चेतः सर्वभयावहं रजसुखं शम्भोः पदाम्भोरुहम्. अङ्गोलं निजबीजसन्ततिरयस्कान्तोपलं सूचिका साध्वी नैजविभुं लताक्षितिरुहं सिन्धुः सरिद्वल्लभम्. प्राप्नोतीह यथा तथा पशुपतेः पादारविन्दद्वयम् चेतो वृत्तिरुपेत्य तिष्ठति सदा सा भक्तिरित्युच्यते. आनन्दाश्रुभिरातनोति पुलकम् नैर्मल्यतश्चादनम् वाचा शङ्खमुखे स्थितैश्च पूर्तिं चरित्रामृतैः रुद्राक्षैर्भजितेन देववपुषो रक्षां भवद्भावना पर्यङ्के विनिवेश्य भक्तिजननी भक्तार्भकं रक्षति. So the verse 62, we saw a beautiful imagery of Bhakta as Arbhaka and Bhakti as Mata. Okay. So Yatha Mata Shishum Rakshati Tatha Bhaktihi Bhaktam Rakshati. So that is what was the description that was given, and we saw that in great detail in the previous class. The next verse 63 that we are going to read is presenting us an episode. So that is there in what is called Shiva Bhakta Vichaya. And this episode is very famous that even in my childhood, so this episode was taught, and this verse is something which is generally taught to children. So this presents to us a certain bhakta who is called Kannappa, who we call, so in the Tamil Nadu tradition at least, Kannappa Nayanar. So there are so many Nayanars, Shiva Bhaktas. One of them is this Kannappa Nayanar. There are some interesting stories connected with that. So let us read the verse. Margavartita paduka pashupatehe, Margavartita paduka pashupatehe, Margavartita paduka pashupatehe, Angasya kurchayate,
Angasya kurchayate, Angasya kurchayate,
Gandushambunishetanam,
Gandushambunishetanam, Gandushambunishetanam,
Puraripoho,
Puraripoho, Puraripoho,
Divyabhishekayate,
Divyabhishekayate, Divyabhishekayate,
Kinchit bhakshitamam sasheshakabalam,
Kinchit bhakshitamam sasheshakabalam, Kinchit bhakshitamam sasheshakabalam,
Navyopaharayate,
Navyopaharayate, Navyopaharayate,
Bhakti kinna karotyaho vanacharaha, Bhakti kinna karotyaho vanacharaha, Bhakti kinna karotyaho vanacharaha, Bhaktavatamsayate, Bhaktavatamsayate, Bhaktavatamsayate. So there are a few interesting things in this. One is, of course, the entire episode. The other thing is, from the viewpoint of poetry, if you see, all the 4 quarters end with Kurchayate, Abhishekayate, Upaharayate, Avatamsayate. It all ends with Kriyapada and almost having the same kind of a form. It's alliteration. These are basically created Kriyapadas. So, Kurcha refers to a particular entity. It does not refer to a certain process. So, Kurchayate. So, now it becomes sort of, there is a certain suffix which is added, Kyang. It's a Kyang suffix. This Kyang basically, this Kyang suffix, that which is not so has become so. That is the kind of meaning that is being presented by this suffix. So, Kurchayate means that which is not a Kurcha has become a Kurcha. Understand? So, Kurchayate. Kurcha, many of you would have seen. So, Kurcha refers to something at the top. So, if we observe some rituals where people will make a bunch of darbha, okay, a small amount of them. A few of them will be tied, okay, so a knot will be done, and then that will be placed on the top of the kalasha. So there will be kalasha, then there will be coconut on that, water, coconut, etc., etc. And then on the top of it, they will put a bunch of darbha grass. So there will be a certain granthi at the top, and that is what is called kurcha. So then this abhisheka, etc., will be done. Okay. So now what he is trying to say here is that which is not a kurcha has become a kurcha, that which cannot be considered as an abhisheka has become an abhisheka, that which cannot be considered as a food has become a precious food for you, and those who cannot be considered as bhaktas have become the supreme bhaktas. Okay, so this is what he is trying to say with all the four padas which are ending in the four padas. Okay, now let us read the verse. Margavartita paduka pashupatehe angasya kurchayate. Pashupatehe angasya kurchayate. What has become kurcha? He says paduka kurchayate. Paduka means basically the slippers. So the footwear that he is wearing has become the kurcha. Marga vartita paduka. So this darba grass is considered as something which is very auspicious. Okay, so you carefully take that and then you do all that and then you try to put it on the top of that. For doing this abhisheka also they will do. You see, so that what is there they will keep it on the idol and then they will do the Kalasha Abhisheka. So this is what is generally done. Now he is saying this story is one of Kannappa Nayanar. Okay. So Kannappa Nayanar is the name that we give in Tamil. Okay. So Marga Vartita Paduka Pashupatehe Angasya. Hey Paramashiva, for your Anga, this footwear that this fellow is wearing has become the kurcha. Okay. Then the next quarter he says Gandu Shambhu Nishechanam Raripo Divyabhishekayate. The word kurcha, let me just tell you, so I'll come back to that little later. So this is one meaning for kurcha. There is another meaning which is also given for kurcha. That meaning is Bhrumadhyasthanam. See, Bhrumadhyasthanam means the space in between the two eyebrows. That also fits into the story very well. Okay, so there are two versions of this. Okay. So there we can find this. This is described. The story is described in detail in certain other texts. So the second quarter says Gandu Shambhu. Ambu means Jalam. Gandu Shambhu. Okay. So this the water which is there in the mouth. Okay. So something which is there in the mouth is what is called Gandusham. Okay. See, so the water that you have sipped into the mouth is what is called Gandusham. So sometimes we say, Pandits will say, so somebody has spit their Gandusha, so you just move away. So that is how they say. Anyway, so Gandu Shambhu, and that is Tasya Nishechanam. Nishechanam means Sechanam. So we can just say Nishesham Sechanam. Okay. So he has this Bhakta, Kannappa Nayanar, so was inspired by the puja that is being done for a Shivalinga. That is the general story that is stated. It is in a forest, there is a linga. Some Archaka was performing this puja. So this Kannappa Nayanar is supposed to be a hunter. Okay. This hunter was observing the puja and so on. He was inspired, and the pujari actually carries a kalasha of water. He brings a kurcha, and then he brings some nevedyam, and then he offers this. He places the kurcha, then he does the abhisheka, then he actually offers something to Bhagavan. So this Kannappa was observing all this. So then he thought that he would also like to do the puja. The way I have heard the story is, so having observed this for a few days, so he got inspired, and then so this fellow decided that he will also perform all this. But he did not have a bowl to carry all this kalasha, etc. This fellow did not have. So he decided, he will fetch the water in his mouth. And then the pujari was keeping some kurcha, so he thought that he will place the paduka on this, and then pour the water in the mouth, as abhisheka. And then as a hunter, he would have got some animal, some flesh, so that he would bring and then say, Bhagavan, Parameshwara, this is for you. So this is the third part. The third quarter says, Kinchit bhakshita mamsa shesha kabalam. So he first tasted the mamsa, and then Kinchit bhakshitam, purvam anena bhakshitam. Tasya shesha, some small part was there, mouthful of mamsa was there. So that, the description here is, that has become navyopahara. Upahara is, and he says navyopahara is something which is a very special food for Parameshwara. Now the point here is, Paduka kurchayate gandushambu nishechanam divyabhishekayate. Divyabhishekayate. Then mamsa shesha kavalam tadapi kinchit bhakshitam. Navyopaharayate. Oh Parameshwara, you take like this. Finally he says, Bhakti kinnakarotyho vanachalaha. Before coming to the last quarter, let me add something more to the story. So as I have heard, I remember vaguely, this should be, suddenly it comes to my mind, this should be at least 40 years before. Maybe even 42, 45 years, 42 to 45 years before. Once there was Shivaratri. I was a school boy. So the Shivaratri we visited this Kanchi Paramacharya. My father used to take sometimes. So that day he said, a couple of days before, he said, Shivaratri, so this time I will give you some 2-3 pages of Shiva Bhakti Mahima. So he wrote to me and then he gave it to me. So there I had this verse, I remember. So there was some stories, there were a couple of stories were there. One of them was this story, there was another story. So then he quoted this verse, and then so that event also is vividly there in my mind. So that day some puja was there, some break was there. Then my father said that so during this break, so Acharya has said that you can narrate the story in Sanskrit. So I had memorized it. 1.5 days was there, so I read some 4-5 times. I don't have Vyutpatti to speak on my own then, but I think I had some little bit of Sanskrit, I think I learned. And then I memorized, and then I said this. So Paramacharya has a way of encouraging people. So he was saying, oh, Ramarana, it was very good, etc. And then he said, once more you do. Okay. So all that he encouraged. So I remember, then the story, the way I remember is, so this Kannappan was doing all this. the priest was a bit annoyed. Okay, so he does all the puja and then he goes away. This Kannappan comes and removes all of them, and then he offers his own things there, and then left a bit of mamsa also for Parameshwara to eat. So the priest saw this happening day after day. So he was a bit annoyed and he decided he will stay somewhere and then notice what is happening. Okay, he was noticing, and then he saw that the Kannappan coming and doing all this. Then he was a bit annoyed and then he said, no, it can't be done, and so on. Then he prayed to Parameshwara, what is it that you are doing? How can you accept all this? Etc. was happening. Then he admonished Kannappa that no, this is not done. So please don't do this also. So he said, but Kannappan was a bit disturbed, but he could not stop doing that. So the next day, in order to teach a lesson, so Parameshwara seems to have created a certain scenario wherein from the eyes of Parameshwara, something was dropping out. Okay, so Rudhira, okay, some sort of dripping was happening from the eye. Then Kannappan was removing that, but then it did not go. So once again he removed it, it did not go. So then he felt that there is something wrong, seriously has happened for Parameshwara. So I am going to take off my eyes, okay, and then replace the eye. Okay, so this is the story. So he initially took off one of his eyes, and then he seems to have placed. So this is the narrative. Then, so this priest was really surprised. Then from the second eye also it drops. Understand? So this is the version of the story. The second eye also something starts dripping. Now Kannappa does not know what to do. Okay, he does not know what to do. So if he were to take his second eye, then he will not know where to place. Right? He will not know where to place that. So that is why the second meaning of Kurcha I gave. This Kurcha means Bhrumadhya. So then he takes his Paduka and then places there, one leg. So that is where somewhere you will find that kind of a picture also depicted in various places. Okay? He will try to remove the second. So then I think everything becomes alright. So that is why he is saying in the fourth quarter, if you see, Bhaktavasamsayate. So avatamsaha means Shrestha, okay? Alankara, etc. Okay? So here Bhagavatpada says, Bhaktihi kimna karoti. Kimna karoti. So kimna karoti means, so even a Paduka can become Kurcha. So you will accept it. Bhaktihi kimna karoti. Aho is an exclamation. Vanacharaha bhaktavatamsayate means not the pujaka. Okay. So bhakteshu shrestha. Bhakta shrestha. Okay. So your hunter becomes bhaktavatamsa. So that is how this verse, keeping that in his mind, so this verse has been composed. So Margavartita Paduka Pashupatehe Angasya Kurchayate Gandushambu Nishechanam. See, Gandushambu Nishechanam Puraripoho Divyabhishekayate. So Puraripu means, so he is the Lord of three worlds. So Puraripoho, this Gandu Shambhu becomes Divyabhisheka. Kinchit bhakshita mamsashesha kabalam navyopaharayate bhaktih kinna karoti aho vanacharaha bhaktavatamsayate. Read. Margavartitapaduka pashupatehe angasya kuchayate gandushambunisheshanam purarivoho divyabhishekayate kinchit bhakshidamansasheshakabalam navyopaharayate bhakti kinna karotyaho vanacharaha bhaktavatam sayate. So there is another aspect to this. So this is supposed to have happened in Kalahasti. That is what they say. Kalahasti is a place. So where this episode is supposed to have happened. Okay. Now we move on to the next verse. Vakshastadanamantakasya
Vakshastadanamantakasya Vakshastadanamantakasya
Kathina sammardanam Kathina Bhubhrit paryatanam Namatsurashirah Kotira Sangharshanam Namatsurashirah Kotira Sangharshanam Namatsurashirah Kotira Sangharshanam Karmedam mrudulasya tavakapadadvandvasya Karmedam mrudulasya Tavakapadadvandvasya kimvochitam Tavakapadadvandvasya kimvochitam Tavakapadadvandvasya kimvochitam. There are two pathas here. See, Tavakapadadvandvasya Gauripate is one patha. Tavakapadadvandvasya kimvochitam is another patha. This kimvochitam is a little more poetic, okay, than Gauripate. Maccheto manipaduka viharanam Maccheto manipaduka viharanam Maccheto manipaduka viharanam Shambho sadangi guru Shambho sadangi guru Shambho sadangi guru. The first half of the verse, there are four things which are stated. So they are sort of depicting four stories as if. Okay. So first thing that he says is Vakshastadanamantakasya. This depicts one episode. Then Kathina sammardanam. This sort of graphically describes another kind of episode or picture. Then the third is Bhubhrit paryatanam. This is another narrative. Namatsurashirah Kotira Sangharshanam. There are four things. We will see what they are. Having said this, these are the four activities that are being executed by your Paduka. See? Karmedam mrudulasya tavakapadadvandvasya tavakapadadvandvasya karmedam. So idam karma mrudulasya tavakapadadvandvasya kim vochitam. Kim vochitam means kim va uchitam. Is it appropriate? See, is it appropriate for your paduka, which is so soft? Okay. So to execute these things, and for a mrudu paduka, so there should be some protection. It says, so now my manaha can become the protection for your paduka. This is a very poetic way of seeing. My manaha may become the paduka. So this will be sort of hard surface. So my manaha is very hard. Okay. So this will serve. And mani paduka. So here there is a rupaka. Maccheto mani paduka viharanam. Okay. Viharanam shambho sada angikuru. So you seem to be making use of your paduka in a variety of ways. That is likely to hurt your paduka, which is so soft. And therefore, please accept Macchetaha as Mani Paduka. So a paduka which will protect you. Okay. Tastena saha viharanam. Okay, you keep doing whatever you want to do, but take this paduka and then do this viharanam. So this is what he is saying in the second quarter. Shambho sada angikuru. So what are the things that are being stated in the first half? The first description is Vakshasthadanam Antakasya. Antakaha means Yamaha. Antam karoti iti Antakaha. We have a phrase, no? Nitantakantadantakanti mantakantakatmajam. See, in Ganesha Pancharatnam we have this verse. There the word Antakantaka. See, Antakantaka is there, no? Antakantakatmajam. Nitantakanta dantakanti mantakantakatmajam. It's a very interesting alliteration there. So Antakantaka is the description of Parameshwara. So Antakantakatmaja is Ganesha. See, Antakantakatmaja. So here we have this Vakshasthadanam Antakasya. So Manushyanam Pranantakaha. Prana Viyoga Karakaha Antakaha. Okay. Now, what is the episode that is being stated here? So, we have the story of a Muni called Mrikandu. Mrikandu Muni. This Mrikandu Muni was blessed with a son after puja, etc., after great prarthana. He was blessed with a son who will have alpayu. Okay. This alpayu is just 12 years, that is all that it was given to. This Mrikandu Muni was very, very unhappy that he will be losing his son at the age of 12. So therefore, this Mrikandu Muni so goes and prays to various people. So how to make my son long lived? So various people give various advices, and then so this Mrikandu Muni so gives all those upadesha to his son. The only person who can save you from Antaka is Antakantaka. Okay, and therefore you do this japa, etc., Shiva Panchakshari, all that he does. This is Mrikandu's son. This Mrikandu's son is what is called Markandeya. Okay. So this Markandeya. This Markandeya at the age of 12, so when this end of the life as per, okay, the prescription is coming. So he goes at the end of that, and then so he embraces that Shivalinga. So he was regularly doing puja. So this also you might have seen in various Shiva temples, the depiction of that. Now he embraces. So Yama comes and then he tries to put his pasha. But then he was so tightly embracing and he could not do. This will be graphically portrayed in some places also, and then he tries to pull. And then as he tries, he was so tightly embracing, and then the linga also shakes. So this is how the story will be shown. And what happens is, so Parameshwara comes out, okay, in physical form. And then, so Yama says, no, I have to take him. Then at some point, Parameshwara sort of kicks him to the pada. Okay? So that is what he is trying to say. Where did he kick him? Vakshasthadanam. Vakshasthadanam antakasya. So this would have been a very difficult thing for you. So with your Murdulasya padukasya, so this would be very difficult. So you take my heart, which is a kathina thing, and then if that were to be your paduka, so your feet will not be hurt and that fellow will be hurt. Okay, so that is what he is trying to say. Okay, so vakshastadana mantakasya. Then this is the first episode. Then the second one is little more difficult to guess. It says Kathina Pasmara Sammardhanam. So Apasmarasya Sammardhanam is what is said. Okay. The word Apasmara refers to some sort of a fever. One form of extreme fever is what is called apasmara. This is why we have this verse which lists various rogas in the Subramanya Bhujanga. We have this verse. Apasmara kushtakshayarsha prameha jvarunmada gulmadi roga mahanta. It is considered as a maharoga, one of the maharogas. Apasmara kushtakshayarsha prameha jvarunmada gulmadi roga mahanta. Ishachascha sarve bhavatpatra bhutim vilokya kshanat tarakare dravante. Vilokya kshanat. So to Subramanya you say, you're just seeing your vibhuti, all this roga will disappear. That is how it says. But here the tapasmara cannot mean that roga. So apasmara sammardhanam, it has to be an activity of crushing something which is called apasmara. Okay. So we have this, I was just thinking of this, then it came to my mind that this should be basically depicting the Dakshinamurti Rupa. So if you see the photo of Dakshinamurti, so he will be seated under Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam. So Munijananam Jnanadataram Arat. Okay. So Tribhuvana Guru. So there you will also see one Rakshasa kind of a Lilliputan, okay, small fellow, okay, being crushed by one of the feet. So this is what we will see, a small Rakshasa depicted there. So that Rakshasa is described as Apasmara. Okay. His name is Apasmara. how does the word apasmara come? So we can understand the word apasmara to describe both the Roga Vishesha as well as the Rakshasa Vishesha. Okay. So this is basically stemming from Dhatu Smr. So apa Smr. Okay. So then we have to add some suffixes suitably so that we will be able to derive this word smara. Okay. So one is, so you can put this karane ghain, you can put. Okay. So karane ghain if you put, see, so apasmaryate means vismriyate. So vismriyate purvavrittam yena. Yena means yena roga visheshena. You have to take. So this disease, sometimes when the disease comes, okay, and the temperature becomes beyond a certain limit, then something will happen, and then you will lose your memory of the past events. So this is the description of the word apasmara with reference to the roga. Okay. So apasmaryate, vismriyate. Okay. So yena purvavritam sarvam. So this is the derivation. Now with reference to this Rakshasa, so you can understand this. So the smara will be the same thing. Okay, smaranam, smritihi. Okay. So smara. Now, so the smaranam is with reference to the nature of oneself. Okay. Svatmanaha yaha pratyayaha. Okay. Atmaswarupa pratyayaha. Okay. Tasya vismaranam means it will refer to basically the avidya. Okay. So yena means here this Rakshasa you can conceive of, as you conceive of the wealth and the deity for the wealth, Lakshmi. So as you conceive of Saraswati, so who can bless you with knowledge, you can conceive of this fellow Rakshasa. In fact, there is a verse. I wanted to trace the verse fully, but I could not quickly get it. So I have heard this verse. Avidya Rakshasya Grasitam Akhilesham Paraguro. Only first quarter I remember. Okay. So we will perhaps trace it and say the other parts. So this avidya is described as a Rakshasi. Avidya Rakshasya Grasitam Akhilesham Paraguro. There is a very beautiful verse which I have heard. Anyway, so this avidya is conceived as a Rakshasi. So this avidya is what shields the Atma Tattvam from it. Okay? So the ignorance. And the one who is responsible for that is depicted, okay, so as a Purusha. The avidya is personified as a Purusha. And as Dakshinamurti in his presence, he will make you understand the Atma Tattva. So by crushing this avidya, so he makes the Atma Tattva dawn in you. Okay? So that is the idea behind this kind of a depiction. Now he is describing this as something which is very difficult. So you can get anything in the world, but see, Atma Tattva Jnana is the most difficult thing. And the fellow is not so easy to drive away. Understand? That is why Kathinapasmara Samardhanam. So all other things are easy. Whereas, so this discovering the true nature of self, so which is protected by this Rakshasa, that fellow has to be crushed. Okay? That is why he is saying this very difficult task that you are doing. Kathinapasmara Samardhanam. Swaswarupasya apratyaha Svatmarupasya ajnana. Okay, that is what is represented by this apasmara. And that is very difficult. Kathina pasmara sammardhanam. Then we have the third description, bhubhrit paryatanam. This is much easier. We know the dwelling place of Parameshwara. The dwelling place of Parameshwara is Himalaya. Okay? So that Parvata in general is described as Bhubhrit. Okay? So Bhuvam Vibharti Bhubhrit means it is giving the stability for the earth. After all, even if you think of the geological process that is happening, so suddenly there will be some burst. The burst is to go to more natural state. So that happens. For some people, they have to burst out. Then they will cool down. Understand? So similarly, the earth has to burst out. Okay. Then something will happen. So then it becomes more stable. So therefore, it is a metaphorical description that we find of Parvatas as Bhubhrit. Now, Bhubhrit Paryatanam means, so this Parameshwara as a resident of Kailasa, so he will keep walking. Okay. So the doctor would have advised okay, to walk. But if he were to walk, he has to walk in the snow. Okay, it will be very difficult. So therefore, you take my heart, which is burning. Okay, that will provide you the warmth. Okay, so therefore he is saying Macheto Manipaduka. Okay, so this will shield you from the cold. Okay, Bhubhrit Paryatanam. This is one way of understanding. The other way of understanding is, see, Parameshwara has descended. So in order to, from a slightly philosophical viewpoint, so there are various kinds of stories. So like we have this Dashavatara. Okay, so we have various kinds of episodes associated with Parameshwara Leela also. So in order to save the bhaktas, so he has to undertake various kinds of difficult journey here. Okay, so therefore he has to descend, he has to go up, etc., etc. So that is the kind of thing that you can think of. So this Paryatanam not for him, I mean that was just joke. So Paryatanam not for him, but for others. Okay. So here, even if you take that Kiratarjaniyam, there is an episode. Okay. So there he has to walk through ups and downs. Okay. So therefore, this Paryatanam you are doing. So for that you need a nice cushion. Okay. So that is my own heart. Okay. Solid chapal. Bhubhrit Paryatanam. Then this is another interesting thing. Namatsurashira Kotira Sangharshanam. The fourth description is various people who have great portfolio among the devatas. Okay? So those people come and offer their pranatis at your paduka. Okay? So at your paduka, so when they come, they don't remove their crown. Okay? So as it is, they come and hit at your paduka. So the crown is going to come and hurt your paduka. That's what he says. Kotira Sangharshanam means the hitting that happens because of the crowns of these people, so falling at your feet. Okay. Namat Sura Shiraha. You understand? Sura is Deva. So Tesham Shiraha. Sura Shiraha. Okay. So Namatam. So these people who are doing that, Kotira is a word which refers to Kirita. Kirita is crown. Kotira can also mean jata. Either way, this is interesting. Okay. This jata can also be, but then this devatas having jata will not work. But I am just saying, as a derivation of the word kotira, if you see, so this kotira is, so it means that which is obtained through, okay, so that which is driven away, that which drives away, rather I would say, that which drives away koti, okay, that which drives towards it, you can think of. So this jata, people who wear, see, so if you are a real tapasvi jatadhari, then you can think of, so koti people coming to you, okay. So for a crown also you have to pay koti rupees, kotis of rupees. Okay. So that way this kotira is something which can either refer to jata or the crown. But here you should take it as crown because it is shirah kotira. Okay. So this devatas shirah kotira. Okay. So irayati, so prerayati. Okay. So that is how we have to understand the term kotira. So namas surashira kotira sangharshanam. So these four phenomena he is just listing and then says karmedam. All these activities. Mrudulasya tavaka padadvandvasya kim va uchitam. See, how can I conceive of your mrudu paduka? Okay, engaging with these kind of activities without having see, without having something which is hard. Okay, therefore he says Macheto manipaduka viharanam Shambho sadangi guru. So you just crush my mind, okay, so that it does various things appropriately. Okay, so when it goes out, so then you give a kick to the mind and then say come back. Okay. So do your activity. So that is the way one can understand. Okay, so that is the metaphorical meaning you can think of. See? So you just kick as it goes out. From executing its own duty, you just kick and then let it come back. Okay. So when it is covered by avidya, you crush the avidya and make me atmatattva, prakasha. And when I suffer, so you just do the paryatanam and then come and save me. So these are the other kinds of meanings that one can associate with this. So you take this is what he is saying. When it comes to the alankara of this verse, we can think of straight away Machedo Manipaduka refers to the Rupaka Alankara. So the other things that you find here in the first half of the verse, so can be conceived as this Kavyalinga Alankara. So Syat Kavyalingam Vagartho Nutanartha Samarpakaha. Okay. So that is how this verse can be conceived as representing two kinds of alankaras. Now read this. Vakshasthadanantakasya katina vasmara sammardhanam bhubhrit paryatanam namasurashirah kotira sangharshanam karmedam mrudulasya tavakapadadvandvasya
kim vauchitam Macheto
manipaduka viharanam shambho sadangi guru. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Om sarvepi sukhinas santu sarve santu niramayaः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित्